Hey
team.
guys!
Woo!
James and Leash coming at you from Gundagai.
Gundagai. And Aniela is super excited. She wants to show you her sliding down a slide. Go for it, Aniela.
Woo!
Hey! Nice work. So we're in this little park. We're just on our way to Albury today. We had a day off yesterday in Canberra. Hallelujah. It's like the first day off we had in, 8 days or something?
It was awesome.
We're nearly done with this trip. It's been super exciting.
We
But
go
wow,
home
I'm looking
tomorrow.
forward to being
Woohoo!
home too. It's great. And what we actually wanted to talk about today was numbers.
Absolutely.
Numbers is part of the mechanics side of the business. Mechanics is one of the big 3 parts of any massage business. And it's one of the whole sections in our book, Mechanics. I've got a section on numbers that we just wanted to share because this is something that comes up in our talk that we do as we've been traveling around. And it's one of those things that I think before we start talking about it, lots of people aren't really keen. You know what I mean? It's like
they have a blind
their
spot.
head is in the sand.
Literally.
Either they just literally don't want to talk about numbers. They think, oh, numbers aren't me. It's boring.
It's not my thing.
Or
I just want to
or
do
they
more
feel a
of
bit
this. I want to do more
embarrassed.
of the
Yeah, that's
massage
right. It's
side
like,
of
oh, my
things.
numbers aren't good, so I don't want to talk
Yeah.
about them. I don't want to think about them. And the truth is, you've got to look at this stuff and get a visual of it if you're going to improve it, right? If it's not good at the moment, that's probably more reason to look at it.
Exactly.
So we just wanted to run through a couple of really simple things. Do you want to
absolutely.
start,
So,
Lish? And hey, Kim and Jeffrey, thanks for dropping
thanks,
in.
guys.
It's great.
So we wanted to talk about some more high-level numbers. Now, I think I've definitely spoken about this before. I don't think it was in one of these lives, but I remember having one of my clients was... What she was doing was basically money would come into her account. You know, if you go high caps, it comes in every day, you know, except on... except Monday, on Tuesday, you get Friday, Sunday, and Mondays all come in at once. So obviously you get a bigger amount on that day. Now, what was happening was each day when money would come in, she would pay it out to different things. She'd have to pay a rent or a laundry or, you know, like her suppliers or whatever it was. And then she would kind of, I need to pay my rego this week, or I need to pay my rent, or my, I need some groceries, whatever. So she just transfer out a little bit of money as she went. Now, what tends to happen when we do that, and we kind of pay ourselves hit and miss, is that it just feels like I'm working my butt off. I'm paying all my bills, but only just. And so what I said to her was, okay, cool, what we're going to do is just stop paying everything for 1 week. Just don't, literally let all the money come in, don't touch it for a week, which she was able to do pretty much. And then she went to the next week and I said, I need you to pick a day that you pay yourself regularly every single week. So for her it was Tuesday because then the money would come in. Yeah, so it made a lot of sense. And the next thing that she did was she would, I said, look at the last 6 weeks, how much have you actually drawn out of your business account into your personal account as drawings? And so she worked out that there was, I think she was paying herself like $600 or $800 a week. What she realized, she didn't even realize that that's how much she was making. And so what she was able to do was every Tuesday afternoon, she transferred, I think it was Wednesday morning, she set up a bank transfer to automatically transfer out of her business account into her personal account, whatever amount of money that it was. Now, that's a really simple number if you're just starting out. And it is really important, even if it's $50. Oops, just breaking signs. What we need to be doing is every single week paying ourselves a certain amount. It brought so much certainty to this particular therapist. And we've done this with a bunch of our clients as well. Just when they're paying themselves, and I know I was exactly the same. When I flipped it to paying everything once a month or paying everything once a week and paying myself on a regular basis, it was really important. Now, also, what we've set up, and we've had this for an extremely long time, is an ING account. Now, at the start, our ING account was to pay our tax. So each week we figure out roughly how much we'd have to pay in tax based on what we were paying ourselves. And then we would transfer that amount out each week and have it sitting there. So it was getting a little bit of interest happening. You can do it if you've got multiple offset accounts. You can do it through that. Just be aware you've got some capital gains tax. I'm not an accountant, okay? So just totally
pre-frame.
They can sort that stuff out.
But the idea is put it aside weekly.
Exactly, because then you don't get hit with a $10, $15, $20, $30, $80,000 tax bill and freak out because you've got most of the money sitting there.
And it's the same when you've got staff.
Absolutely.
In fact, even more important.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
you actually do work out literally weekly how much you're going to owe. Or fortnitly, whatever the
PAYG tax is. Yeah.
You must put that aside. Otherwise, you get to the end of the quarter or the month when you have to make your PAYG payment and it's this massive bill, and it's just
like, where am I going to pull that from?
Mm.
The other thing is when you register for GST. So once you hit the $75,000 turnover in Australia, you must register for GST, and massage actually accrues
gets GST.
Gets GST
What's the
applied to
word?
it. Has
Yeah.
GST applied to it. We're not GST exempt. So if you charge $90 for a massage, you've now got to add another $9 on for the GST component. Now, I encourage you to figure out how much do you bring in each week. Let's say it's $1,000. Then you automatically put $100 into that offset or ING account, so that again at the end of the quarter the money is just sitting there. This is something that we've practiced for a long time.
It's so simple, and it sounds kind of boring, and I can just, even through the screen here, I can feel a whole bunch of massage therapists just rolling their eyes going, oh,
who cares?
but
How
the thing is at the end of the quarter, when you've got whatever $1,000 in there and the tax department sends you a bill and you're like, and you just pay it.
Done.
It feels awesome, right?
Absolutely.
And the opposite, if you don't have the money there and you get a few $1,000s in a bill, it feels bad.
We've done in the past, both of us.
Yeah, we've been in these situations.
Where it was kind of like, oh yeah, everything's going fine, everything's going along. We're paying our bills, we're paying ourselves, we're paying our staff. It's all great. And then all of a sudden, we got this bill at the end of the quarter, and it was like, how much is it?
Yeah, that's right. And then you're playing catch up
up
at the same time as trying to set aside for the new quarter so that you don't get it. And having that double payment thing is just the worst too. So get it right from the start, even if it's just small amounts.
Yeah, every single week.
Build that discipline of making it happen, and it
now,
makes everything
if you've got
easier.
Staff, some other numbers that you can be tracking are how much turnover your staff member brings in, and how much you actually pay them. And did you do some Facebook advertising or something specifically to actually market to that person, so that you can get to the end of the month and go, okay, this staff member brought in $3,000. I paid them $1,500 of that, so I'm in profit. Awesome. Or
the other way around.
Exactly.
Yeah,
this staff member came in, they earned $1,000, and I've actually paid them like $3,000. Oh, gee, I need to have a look at either marketing them more, or talking to them about rebooking, or managing them in some way to actually make my business run sustainably. So I have a really cool sign. It's the only thing that's yellow in my office, and it says, what gets measured gets done. Because I really do believe that when we measure things, when we start to, as James says in the talk, when we apply a number to something, then we can start to test and measure it and go, is this working or is this not working? And it's just simply, it's like, numbers are very much part of business. You can't run a great business without understanding numbers, because you just can't, to be perfectly honest.
And
the only way you can have a great business.
We're getting heaps of
I know,
highs
good
there.
morning, guys. Hi,
Renee, Melinda,
Renee.
everyone's so
great.
great.
Good to have you guys.
One of the other things I would say too is even stuff that doesn't normally have numbers applied to it, like it's easy with income, number of treatments, rebooking rate, all those things are easy to track. But we even get our clients in our core program to track things like, how did you feel your health was this week? How do you feel your relationships were this week? How do you feel your level of happiness was this week, or fun? Because even if you're kind of guesstimating those things, you can still see. It's so easy over time to say, hey, wow, look, that stuff that I've been doing has raised my level of feeling about myself just because I've attached a number to it.
And I mean, I came from a background of, I had a fear of numbers. I particularly had a fear of odd numbers, which I find hilarious. But it's true, right? I would literally look at it and go, too many numbers. No, I just want to help people. And going from realizing that it was a massive stretch to knowing them so well, I can still remember what my consistent numbers were 5 years ago. Yeah. Because I'm it's
so much focus.
It's one of those things when when you're working on something in your own life, that it's like, I know how important this is, so I still remember what those numbers were. And they helped me massively, because when I had weeks where I thought, oh my glory, I don't even know what is even going to happen, I realized that we already had enough bookings booked in for that week to actually cover expenses before we even opened the doors. And sure, if we had a few cancellations, whatever, but I knew that consistently we would get an extra 20 bookings from whatever we had on Monday morning at 9 o'clock when we opened through to when we finish at 2 o'clock on Saturday, that we would get at least minimum an extra 20 bookings throughout the week.
So which is another couple of good numbers. It's like, what's your minimum number of treatments to break even, and then to make the profit that you want to make? And how many do you normally gain during a week? Just short-term bookings. So you can kind of see the difference between your pre-booked. Is that going to be enough? If not, how many do I normally get on average each week? Extras? Yeah, it's good.
And so numbers are super important. And they're just, even if you start with, what's the impact that I want to have on my community.
Yeah, touch a
Start
number
with,
to that.
touch a
How
number
many
2.
people?
How many people per week do I actually want to be impacting my community? Now, for me, when I very first started out, it was 23. For me, 23 clients a week is an absolutely perfect number of clients that I love to be able to see.
Oh, my arm is falling off.
We had a bit of a blowout with the do you want me to hold
Hang
it?
on, no, I got it. Yeah, oh, no, I'll swap sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Got a bit
gotta
of a
swap to
blowout
the
with
other
the tripod. It
Tripod
fell out
broke in the back of the
and
car.
It broke the
So
phone holding bit. So it's James's arm. There we go. That's perfect. Well done, James. I can talk for another 10 minutes now.
This side's my better side, though. I think this is not.
Oh, nice. I like both your sides. You're looking a bit scruffy today too. I
know.
love it.
See,
Yoo-hoo.
we didn't have an event yesterday. I had a day off, so I'm having a day off shaving.
Oh,
as well.
it's awesome. It's awesome. So yeah, tracking numbers is really, really important. When I first started doing this, like I said, 23 clients a week was what I wanted. After I started to have staff and bring it on board, obviously we changed the numbers. And I thought, 100 clients a week would be amazing. We ended up getting over 100 clients a week consistently from the clinic that I ran. And I loved that impact every single week, across 50 weeks of the year. We were helping that many people, and it was an amazing number. I remember sitting down on the last day of my when we were into that big space, and we just we'd condensed it down and moved, and we were sitting on the floor, reminiscing, thinking, I think we'd done over 5,000 treatments from that one space in 5 years or something like that. Rough numbers, but still thinking about it. I tried to figure out how many liters of water we'd filtered, because we had one of those stone water filters. How many liters of oil we would have gone through, and just kind of tracks and numbers like that. It was all a bit of fun. But it comes down to really understanding your business from that perspective, and sometimes just having the confidence to look at them, because what gets measured gets done, guys.
Absolutely.
Awesome
Cool.
stuff. Look
Love
forward to
it.
seeing you guys in St Kilda on Wednesday night. Woohoo!
See ya.